Cool. Mhm. They be recording. Hey, Shabbat Shalom to everyone who's on live stream right now. We want to thank Yahweh for being our Elohim. Yahweh, thank you for this day of this Yom Shabbat. Yahweh, we ask that you would open our eyes and our ears to see and to hear the wonderful things that are found in your Torah. We give you all the praise because you are the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, known as Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. You have made a covenant with our fathers, Yahweh, that you would remember us and that you would bring us back to our own land, and that you would forgive our transgressions and our sins and our iniquity, Yahweh. We thank you today. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise be to the mighty Yahweh. All right, let's go ahead and get started in our Torah portion this week. Make sure you have a pen and paper, take some notes. Feel free to ask any questions that you may have. I'll answer them if I can. If they're long answers, then of course I'll have to wait until the end of class in order to do that for you. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. All right. So here we go. Let me get some more people in here. Praise be to Yahweh. Turn my face off. Let's see. All right. Welcome, Elder Bill and Zaquania. Thank you so much for coming today. I appreciate you. All praises be to the Most High. All right. So our Torah portion this last week had to deal with the idea of what you would call Shemot. That's the name of our book. Some people know it as the book of Exodus. Exodus is a Greek name, just like Genesis is a Greek name. Numbers is a Greek name. Deuteronomy is a Greek name. And what they've done is they've actually turned the names of our books into the names that they wanted to reflect how they see things. Okay. So they say Exodus, meaning to leave out or to to exit. That's where you get it from. But Shemot has to do with this idea of names. That's what this in particular book is about. We just started this in particular book this last week. Okay, so Shemot, let me put it here in English for you right quick. Let me transliterate it so you can see when I say Shemot, what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a S, a H, a E, a M, and a O, and a T, H. Okay, Shemot. Okay, so Shemot has to do with names. Okay, and names have to reflect character, and character is literally the breath of you. What do I mean by that? When the Most High gives you your name, that is the breath of you. There are several examples that we have in this week's Torah portion talks about Moshe. His name reflects what happened to him. What is the breath of him? He was named by Pharaoh's daughter. He wasn't named by his parents. Not to say that he didn't have a name named by them, but the name that he has is the name that's by Pharaoh's daughter. We see her character. Her character was one of love, mercy, and compassion. She saw a Hebrew Ivri child that was crying out, and she took him to herself and wanted to adopt him, and so forth and so on. There's a lot of different characters that we have. We don't have a whole bunch of time to go through each and every last one of them. But one of them, well, excuse, not one of them, another one was mentioned, which is talking about um, the two women who were able to save the Hebrew boys, the midwives, who refused to cooperate with Pharaoh. So you can see that they have character. You see the character of the mother of Moshe. You see the character of his sister. So a lot of women are mentioned. You see the character of Zipporah, which is Moshe's wife. So we're seeing all these different women play a key role in the life of Moshe, which is pretty interesting. Okay. But the breath of you is how one is supposed to live, and how you live determines what type of character you have. Your name is supposed to be reflective of that. Okay. So this book is not just about leaving or exiting, another land called Mizraim or Egypt in English. What it's really talking about is the character of you, the breath of you. Okay. That's what Shemot means. Your Torah portion in chapter number 1, verse number 10 it was said that it said, look, the descendants of Israel have become a people too numerous and powerful for us. Now, this is the Melech, this is the king of Mizraim saying this to his people. He said, come, let us use wisdom in dealing with them. Otherwise, they'll continue to multiply. And in the event of war, they might ally themselves with our enemies and fight against us and leave the land altogether. Um, on the face of this, it appears that they're talking about a group of people. But when this king, Pharaoh, when he's talking about the children of Israel, he's talking about them as being one individual. And why is that important for us? It's important for us to understand that no matter what our successes are, and no matter what we do, and no matter what our positions and roles and responsibilities are in whatever country we're in or whatever lands we're in, they always see us as one. If they have an agenda, it's for all of us. It's not for some of us, it's for all of us. I mean, even in your Torah portion, you saw that they were using, I don't know if you saw this because the English really doesn't bring it out, but they were using the Israelites to be the ones to beat their own people. They were using the taskmasters to give the orders and to instruct the officers, which they call the officers, but they're really called the accountants, the overseers. The overseers were Hebrew Israelites. And they were the ones who were beating their own people. They were the ones who were pressuring them. They're the ones who are pressing them to meet their quotas every day. They're the ones. Okay. So in this context right here, Pharaoh is really concerned. As we have seen through all of our Torah portions, everyone is concerned with what's going to happen with Israel when there's a war. What's going to happen with them? There's so many of them that they might turn against us. Okay. The war that they're making reference to here is something that has to do with our Torah portion about how the Most High is going to bring war. The Most High is going to bring war against them. And the Most High heard what they said. He heard that, this is their intention, right? So they're afraid about war and they're afraid about Israel turning against them. And then in our Tehillim, which they call the Psalms or the writings of praise, it says, Elohim, don't remain silent. Don't stay quiet, Elohim, or still, because here are your enemies. They're causing an uproar. Those who hate you are raising their heads, craftily conspiring against your people, consulting together against those you treasure. This is not something new. This is not a new thing for us. This has always been the case for the children of Israel, is that there's always somebody that's trying to find a way to get rid of us, okay? Continuing on into Tehillim, which is Psalms 83, it says, they say, come, let us wipe them out as a nation and let the name of Yisrael be remembered no more. Going back to the Shemot, going back to the character, going back to the breath of you. The reason why they want to wipe us out is because they understand about what their end is going to be if they continue to allow us to remain alive. Okay, so this conspiracy is to stop us. The conspiracy is to get rid of us. The conspiracy is to wipe us out as a nation, to wipe our name, Yisrael, not Israel, Yisrael, out so it will never be remembered no more. Okay, so with one mind, winning one consent, they plot their schemes and they covenant, and the covenant that they've made is against you. It goes into detail about who these individuals are. Just to name a few, they're relatives, they're family members, they're the Yishmaelims, they're Yishmael, his family. It's Edom, our brother. He's coming against us. It's our cousin Lot and his sons, Moab and Ammon. It's family members, along with others who had decided we need to wipe them out. And if you read this chapter, which I would recommend highly that you do, you'll find out that this is something they have been planning forever. They have been doing this forever. So you can see the same words that Paro said, which is Pharaoh, that he said is, come, let us learn how to deal with them. They're saying now, come, let us wipe them out, right? So this was in your reading this week. So we're putting the pieces together. They're concerned about our name because our name represents to prevail. Our name means to have power with El. And if they can wipe you out, then they can wipe out the idea of them having to come underneath our rulership. Now you ask yourself, well, what are some of the things that they have done? How are they trying to wipe us out? What are we seeing here? Well, we see the idea about population control. If they can cut off the seed of Israel, then they can control the population. If they can control the population, then they can control the power. Now, in our day that we have agencies and governments that are working against us, okay? Like Planned Parenthood, okay? Eugenics. Why? To get rid of the seed, is to get rid of the males and to get rid of the females. Any opportunity for us to grow causes a problem. And at the end of this Torah portion, you're going to find out why. Why you are a problem. Go ahead, Caribanyo.
I just wanted to also shed light on the fact that how they made the whole Western culture to have one wife to reduce the possibility of having more seed.
Yes, that's an excellent point. Excellent. Because in other parts of the world, they have multiple wives because they know that a man can produce many, 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 many children. Like if you want to have, like, let's say a man can produce, let me see, for 30 days, he can have 30 kids in less than a month. That's what he can do. A woman can only have a child every 9 months. A man can produce over 30 children or more in 1 month. Okay. So the idea of our continuation is the problem. They want to get rid of the seed. Okay. Why? It comes to this idea, this Hebrew word called zakar. The Hebrew word zakar means a male. That's what it means. Okay. And it means to remember, it means to mention. Okay. So in our culture, we are not a matriarchal society. We're a patriarchal society, meaning that we carry the names of our fathers to the next generation. That's why the Most High did not say, I'm the Elohim of Sarah, Rivka, and Raquel, or Leah. He said that I'm the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We're a patriarchal society. We pass on our seed. We pass on our traditions to our fathers. That's why the Most High said that I'm showing mercy to the thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments, but I'm visiting the sins of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. Okay. So this word zakar has to do with this, with remembering. Okay. I want you to write this down. Zakar means to remember. It means a male. Okay. Elohim heard their groaning in your Torah portion, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. He zakared his covenant. Okay. Why is this important? It's important because the Most High has made a promise and several promises to our fathers to let them know, like, hey, I'm going to take care of your descendants. I'm going to be their Elohim. I'm going to be their power. I'm going to establish them. I'm always going to look out for your family. I'm always going to do that. Okay. When I first read this, I said, okay, the Most High, they were crying, but it didn't say that he necessarily just heard their cry. He heard their groaning. He's hearing their groaning, not really just their cry. He's hearing their groaning. The groaning is like, they're just exhausted. They're just emotionally, spiritually, physically, monetarily exhausted. And the Most High is letting us know, like, okay, this is how he responds. I'm only going to respond to your groaning. So we should understand and expect for something to happen, for this to be brought about. This groaning has to come about. Okay. The Most High, Elohim, saw that the people of Israel, and Elohim acknowledged them. So when the Most High saw us and he acknowledged us, in your Torah portion, it said that we were his people. You and I did not become his people when we were brought out of the land of Israel. We were his people before we went into the land of Israel. We have always been the Most High's people. When it talks about him acknowledging them, what he's talking about, he took notice of them. And this is a big deal. I don't think we really understand the significance of Yah acknowledging us and taking the time to consider us and to understand what's going on with us and to plan for us and to fight for us. Okay. I'm moving a little quickly because we have a lot of information to cover. The name Paro in the Hebrew has a meaning of a mouth, which is that first letter that you see in his name, Paro. And the mouth does something, it speaks. And what he's speaking is evil. This is what we have. This is what the name Paro or Pharaoh means. It means mouth, and here's evil, Ra, right here. The mouth that speaks evil. A mouth that's speaking evil, a mouth that's going to bring about misery, a mouth that's going to bring about dysfunction. Okay. And he was chosen and he was selected by the Most High to bring about the groaning of the children of Israel. He says something that was interesting. He said that, who is Yahweh? Who is Yahweh that I should obey when he says to let Israel go? Or in Hebrew, it says to send away. I don't know Yahweh. And I also won't let Israel go. This is the worst thing that anyone could say, is that who is Yahweh that I should obey him? I don't know him, and I'm not going to let Israel go. So this was the beginning of the war between the Most High and the land of Mizraim and their leader, which at that time Pharaoh was recognized as being a god. And there were many gods that they served in Egypt. So what you're seeing is there is a definite conflict between the Most High and between this man who speaks evil. Pharaoh is just a representative of all people who speak evil against the Most High, who are arrogant enough to ask the question, who is he that I should obey him? There's a lot of people who don't know the Most High. And then when you bring it to their attention who he is, they still don't want to listen to him. They don't want to listen to anything he has to say. Okay. And the reason why they feel like they can do that is because they don't know him. And all because they don't know him doesn't mean that he doesn't exist. See, all because you don't know him doesn't mean that he doesn't exist. All because we don't have any, experience with him doesn't mean that he doesn't exist. The Most High exists. He does. And he's going to tell us about himself here in just a moment. So what he said was give these people harder work to do after he received this message from the Most High. And then he says they will keep them too busy to pay attention to speeches full of lies. In Hebrew, it talks about, he said that whatever Moshe and Aharon were saying to him was a lie. And he was saying that the message that they received from their Elohim was a lie. And that's something that you and I need to be mindful of. People out here today are saying that this message of the Torah is a lie. When you tell them that you have been woken up or awakened to the fact that you are the children of Israel, they say that's a lie. People in your family are saying that's a lie. You're delusional and you're crazy. Well, you're not. You're not crazy. This is not the message that you and I have received from the Most High is not a lie. It's not a falsehood. When it talks about lies, it's talking about it's false. And sometimes they want us to prove. They want us to prove that what we're saying is true. And here's the bottom line. You and I are not in a position to try to have to prove Yahweh. He doesn't want us to try to attempt to prove him. You and I don't have that. That's not our responsibility to prove that the Most High exists. That's not our job. Our job is to do what Yahweh says. Okay. So when people think that you're talking falsehood and they're not listening to you, that's their problem. Okay. The message is not false. The message is very true. Okay. So when after Moshe had given this message to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh said, well, listen, we're going to increase these people's workload. They're too busy listening to this false message, and let's just dog them out. Okay. So Moshe returned to Yahweh and said, Yahweh, why have you treated this people so terribly? What has been the value of sending me? There's a great value in the Most High sending Moshe. And of course, Moshe doesn't understand it. When he was called to do the duty and the responsibility of going to Pharaoh and to, represent the Most High, he didn't understand what that really meant. He thought that when I go there, this is going to be a slam dunk and, Pharaoh's going to listen. He's going to listen to you. And the bottom line is he's not. He also believed too, well, he said, well, the people are not going to believe that, you sent me. Who am I to tell them? And so they're going to, they may or may not listen to me. But what are some of the things that you can do to show them that you're for real, right? So my point is that the value with Yah in searching out or doing what he's asking us to do can be found when Yah shows us himself. Okay. Let me make that sense. Let me let that make sense here. Okay. He said, for ever since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has dealt terribly with his people, and you haven't rescued your people at all. So, why is this happening? Somebody tell me. Why do you think this is happening? What did you learn? Why do you think this is?
To create,
Well, say again.
I was saying to create the tension to, so Yah can show his glory and his power.
Absolutely. The Most High is doing this. Okay. So the Most High is the one who's creating this. So when Moshe said, why are you doing this? Why have you treated this people so terribly? He understood something. He understood that the Most High was the one doing, but he just didn't understand the value of him being sent. Kind of like what Jonah said to the Most High. If you know that you were going to save these people, why did you send me? If you know that you're a merciful Elohim, why would you send me? What's the purpose of you sending me? And what's the value of you sending me, considering you know what's going to happen? The value of Yah sending us or sending him or anybody is to let them know who he is. Moshe had to have an experience with the Most High himself. It's not about just Pharaoh. And it's not just about the children of Israel. It's about everybody that's involved. Okay. And this happened because Yahweh's name was declared. And that's the point that we need to focus on. This is about Yah's name. This is about his name. It says, there Elohim made his people very fruitful, talking about in Mizraim, right? And he made them too numerous for their foes, whose heart he turned to hate his people and to treat his servants unfairly. This is found in Tehillim, which is Psalms 105. And he tells us that the Most High is the one who has done this. I want you to understand something. If anybody is going through any type of difficulty and hardship, and people are against us, it's simply because this is what Yah wants. And I know that doesn't, make us feel comfortable and warm and fuzzy inside, but it's the truth. Yah has turned these people to hate his people. Yahweh has caused them to treat his servants unfairly. Yahweh has caused them to unalive their firstborn sons. Yahweh has caused them. That was something that Yah has allowed to happen. Because it has to do with his name. It has to do with what you would call the Shemka. Okay. And again, Shemot is talking about, the names, but it's talking about his name. It talks about your name. Ever since I mentioned your name, okay, you can see Shem and Ka. Name is shame and Ka is your, right? So Shemka. Ever since I've talked about your character, what is Yah's character? What does he want to achieve by sending Moshe? What is he trying to communicate to not only Pharaoh, but to communicate to everyone in his house, communicate to the sons of Israel? He's actually saying, look, I promised your father something, and I told you through Joseph that I was going to come and visit you. And now I'm here. And it was several hundred years later, but the Most High has kept his promise. That's what he's saying. I'm an Elohim of character. The breath of me said, if I open and I spoke to your father and I said something to him, I meant it. Just like if we speak, the Most High is saying, anytime you open your mouth and you say something, you should mean it because that's the breath of you. You see? So the Shemka, ever since I mentioned your name, that's when you're going to have problems. Do you know you didn't start having problems in your family until you mentioned Yahweh's name? Do you know when you mention Yahweh's name, there's a problem? Because what goes along with Yahweh's name is a certain lifestyle. And what goes along with Yahweh's name is a certain attitude and behaviors that reflect, hey, I need to be set apart. Ever since you mentioned his name, there's problems. And you should expect that. I want to teach you today about a Hebrew greeting called Ma Shimka or Ma Shemek. I told you every week I'm trying to give you a little bit, right? So we got, Shabbat Shalom. We have Boker Tov, meaning good morning. We have, Sahavroyim, Tovim, talking about good afternoon, right? We have, I said Shavuot Tov already, but now I'm going to teach you how to say, what is your name? What is your name? So the question is Ma, that's what is, and your name is Shimka. So write that down. Ma Shimka. Ma Shimka. And they're going to tell you what your name is.
Ani Kore Max.
Yes. Would you say Ani? Ani Kore? You
Yeah,
said
Ani Kore Max.
called Max. Yes. I'm called Max. But in Hebrew, the response from Ma Shimka would be for you, you would say Shemi. You would say Shemi. And I'll tell you, instead of say you answering I'm called, you would actually say Shemi. Shemi means my name. Okay. So Sha me. Shemi. Okay. So here's name, which is shame, right? Right here. This is you. Okay. But when I'm talking to a male, I go Shim Ka. When I'm talking to a female, I go Sha make. Okay. Put it in English right here, make, so you can remember it. Sha make. Okay. So Ma Shamek. That's for a female. For a male is Ma Shimka. Okay. So when you answer that, it would be Shemi. This I right here, this Yo right here is my, and this Shame right here is name. My name, Shemi. So you say Shemi, Shemi Max. I say Ma Shimka. You say Shemi, Shemi Max. If I say to Rivkwa, Ma Shemek, she would say Shimi Rivkwa. Okay? Because you have to honor the both and respect the both the male and the female. You have to keep them separate. Right? So that's how you ask the question, what is your name? You say Ma Shimka or Ma Shemek. Just a little Hebrew lesson for you today. Because this has to do with names. Okay. Now, here's something that was very interesting in a study this week. It said, and Moshe said to Elohim, and you can find this in Shemot chapter number 3, verse number 13 and 14. Moshe said to Elohim, behold, I shall go forth to the children of Israel and shall say to them, the Elohim of your fathers has sent me to you. And they will ask me, well, what is his name? So they would ask, well, Ma Shemo, what is his name? What is his name? And what shall I say to them? And Elohim spoke to Moshe saying, I am the being. Where did you get this, Akika? I got this from the Brenton Septuagint. The Brenton Septuagint, which is previous to the Masoretic text. The way that they identified the Most High, and in Hebrew, it says Eye Asher Eye. Okay, but they gave him the title as the being. That's what I want you to say to the children of Israel. The being has sent me to you. Okay, so why is it the being? Right? In Hebrew, it's Eye. And Eye, go back this up. Eye. Eye. This is not his name, like some people would say. In English, is Eye. That's not his name. His name is not Eye Asher Eye. That's not his name. Okay? That's what everybody call him. Eye Ahaya Eye. That's not his name. This is talking about the action of who he is. He says, I am the being. And it is true that it is talking about the being, because Hi A is I, and Haya, which is the root here, talks about existence. I exist. Okay. If he's talking about I will exist, he's saying I am existence. I'm existence. What he's telling you and I is that I am the reality. I'm your reality. That's what he is. When you look outside and you see the trees and the skies and the birds and the bees and the flies and the mosquitoes and the ants and the other insects that you can't even name, I'm the reality. When you're in trouble and you're in distress and you're in calamity and you're in suffering and hardship, I am reality. I'm the existence. I am the self-existing one. That's what I am. And you and I need to understand this about the Most High. He is your reality. He is your existence. That's what he is. And when he talks about existence, the word Haya has to do with also the word that goes with not only to be, but it has to do with a being, not a human being, but I am the being. I'm not from earth. I'm not a human. I'm not a human being. I am the reality. I am the being. I was reading the Psalms and it says, the day is yours, the night is yours, the sun is yours, the moon is yours, the seasons are yours, the heat is yours, the frost, the snow, the winds, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the rivers, the oceans, the ponds, the streams. It's all his. And so are you and I. So when he's telling him to go to these people, he's letting them know that I am the reality. Everything is mine. And I think, too, this is where we fail as a people. I don't think it, I do know it. The Most High has revealed himself to us because he wants us to understand that he is the reality of life. Nothing exists without him. So if the Most High wants to bring life, he brings it. If he wants to increase your life, he can, like he did with Hezekiah for 15 years. If he wants to save a nation for turning themselves around, he could do that like he did in Nineveh. If the Most High wants to put us in slavery, he could do that too. If he wants to scatter us, he can do that too. If he wants to make us sick, he can do that. If he wants to curse us, he can do that. If he wants to heal us, he can do that. So what is he telling us? See, we got it backwards. And this is something he's always been trying to get us to understand. So all the different things that we have seen or read about him splitting the sea, okay? When he splits the Red Sea open, right? He gives it walls of water. And the walls of water were over 10,000 feet tall. Who can do that? Who can stop rivers that never stop so the children of Israel can walk past them? Who can feed millions of people with bread that falls out of heaven? Who can cause multitudes and multitudes of quails to come from the south wind and fall right down inside of their camp? Who can lead the people through the wilderness with a cloud of fire or a pillar of fire and a cloud to direct them? Who can do that? That's who you and I are dealing with. We're dealing with the self-existing one. And if you and I don't recognize this, that's when you and I are going to have these problems. And the children of Israel have had this problem. He's always been trying to get them to see who he is. Yes, Carbaño.
So we can see that where he did the first instance he did it was with the Red Sea, and he did it again with the Jordan River.
Yes. Yes. And the thing about it is that he's been trying to get us to see this. I don't want us to miss this. That's why I'm staying here a little bit longer. You guys, he's really trying to get us to understand about his power. That's what everything has been about that. He's introducing himself to the children of Israel to show his might and his strength by saying, hey, the only way that this guy's going to let you go is through a very strong hand and powerful. I'm the only one who can do it. Yahweh, when he separated us from all the other peoples, it wasn't because he didn't like all the other peoples. He's just saying that you guys are my special people, and I want you to be the example to the rest of the world on how they're supposed to live. And I want them to understand my relationship with you. You guys are my children. So I want to reflect my character through your life. I want that to be known. I want people to know my name. I want them to know that I exist. I want them to know that I'm in control. I want them to know that there is no other gods. That's what this is all about. But we're steadily chasing other gods who have never done anything for us. This is what he's saying. He asked a question. Think about it. He said, who gives a person a mouth? You know, who makes a person dumb or deaf? You know, keen-sighted or blind? Isn't it I? I'm the being. I'm the self-existing one. I'm the one. I'm the one. If you can't, because this is in context of Moshe saying, I don't have the right mouth to speak. Well, who made your mouth to be dumb and slow? I did. He asked Moses, what's that in your hand? What do you mean? Does he not know that it's a staff? He does know it's a staff. So why is he asking the question? Why does he feel like it's necessary to ask this man? You don't know who's the one who made the mouth? Moshe didn't know Yah. He didn't know Yahweh. When the Malach of Yahweh appeared in the bush that was blazing with fire, Yah spoke to him through the messenger. He didn't know Yah. Okay, let's put it in context. Let's just be students of the Torah. Moshe was taken as a child and given to Pharaoh's daughter as a weaned child. Once he got weaned, was probably like 3 or 4 years old or sometime. He grew up in Egypt. He did not know Yahweh. You understand? He did not know. He found out some type of way that he was an Israelite. So he might have, because he ended up unaliving a Mitzri, and that's how he ended up getting exiled out of his land. But he didn't know the Most High. He has had no experience with Yah at all. Okay? So Yah has to let him know of who he is. And he says, well, how am I going to know that you sent me? How am I going to know? He said, you'll know that I sent you when you end up back at this mountain and I'm talking to you. When you're back here worshiping me, then you'll know that I'm Yahweh. Then you'll know. So Yah's letting us know, like, okay, when I give you my name, sometimes we're looking for instant results. Like when he revealed his name to us, we want him to come right now. Since his name has been revealed, it's right now. No. With Yahweh's name comes deliverance. With Yahweh's name comes calamity. It's going to come with power. It's going to come with war. You understand? So you and I are told you're going to know who I am after I do what I said I'm going to do. I don't want you to think about my name just as an intellectual exercise. I actually want you to have real life experience with me and what my name represents. Do not call on my name and don't have an expectation. That's what he's telling him. I don't care if you can't speak. I don't care if you're blind. I don't care if you're dumb. I'm the one who's made it so. Isn't it I, Yahweh, have done this? I am Yahweh, and there is no other. And besides me, there is no Elohim. I'm arming you, although you don't know me. He's talking to Cyrus. He's talking to a man who doesn't know him. This is in Isaiah chapter number 45. He doesn't know Yah, but Yah is introducing himself. He said, look, you don't even know me, right? So that those from the east and those from the west will know that there's none besides me. I'm Yahweh, and there's no other. Why is he telling this man this? Why is he telling this king this? He's telling him because he wants him to recognize that everything that you're about to do is because I'm allowing you to do it. This is what Israel has failed to recognize. I forming light. I'm creating darkness. I'm making well-being. I'm making shalom. And I'm creating calamity. I, Yahweh, do all these things. That's what it says in Hebrew. I'm doing all these things. It's not that I have done it. I'm constantly doing it. I'm constantly involved. When he talks about calamity, that's Ra. That's evil. Just like Pharaoh's name is Paro and what has the Ra in it, it's evil. Yah is bringing about calamity. If someone's doing something, because Yah has done it. So if you want to blame all the other nations for what they've done to you, you got it bent and you got it messed up. Yah tells us in Leviticus chapter number 26, write it down for your notes, that guess what? If you do not acknowledge that I'm the one who has done this to you, then you don't understand what's going on. If you do not understand that if there's no peace, it's because of Yahweh. You understand? If there's light, it is because of Yahweh. If there's dark, your days consist because of Yahweh. Because they belong to him. If there's any good that's happening in our lives, it's because of Yahweh. Yahweh does all these things, all of it. Elohim said further to Moshe, say this to the people of Israel, Yod He Wahe, Yahweh, the Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, the Elohim of Yaakov has sent me to you. This is my name forever. Forever? This is how I'm going to be remembered generation after generation. See? It's Yah's character, is who he is. Moshe did not know him. The children of Israel did not know him. They heard of El Shaddai through their fathers. When he says that I'm the Elohim, which means I am the powers of Abraham. I've been the powers of your father Yitzchak. I have been the powers of your father Yaakov. So the sustaining that I've given to all of them has been by my hand. I am Yahweh. That is my name. That is my character. That's who I am. And so with their dreams, this is what people are trying to get you to forget. They want you to forget his name. If you didn't know this, you're going to know today. This is the reason why his name is not mentioned in the New Testament. This is the reason why you didn't find him in the New Testament. This is the reason why the prophets, the so-called prophets in the New Testament, never mention his name. The apostles never mention his name. His disciples never mention his name. And the so-called Christ never mentioned his name. Not one single time. Zippo. Not one time. So you got to think about this for a second. If Yahweh sends somebody and he says, tell the children, this is my name forever. He didn't change his name to Yahweh Shai. He didn't change his name to Yeshua. He didn't change his name to Yahshua. He didn't change his name. This is his name. This is who he is. This is the breath of him that goes along with salvation. But your ancestors, they have forgotten my name because they worship Baal. They worship the Lord. They forgot me. They're causing you to forget my name. Why do they want you to forget his name, people? Why do they want you to forget this name? Because it's a memorial. It's Yah's signature. Everyone has a signature. This is the reason why he put his name on the temple. It's his memorial, which gives recognition to the identity of him being the being. I am the being. I am the one. I am existence. I am reality. That's who he is. This is the name that the seraphim call on. Kadosh, calling on the name of Yahweh. They're not calling on no one else's name. It's a memorial, and his name is on you, people. It's on you. He has put his signature on you and I and on our lives, which gives us identity. Without Yah's name on us, you and I would be no one. We will be forgotten by the nations. They will not do anything to save you. They don't have your best interests at heart. They don't give a damn about your community or what's going on in your house. They do not care if you live. They do not care if you die. They don't care if you starve. These people do not care about you. They're not trying to secure your future. You have a future with your Elohim. And may Yahweh pour out his wrath on the nations that don't know you, and the kingdoms that don't call on your name. For they have devoured Yaakov, and they left his home a waste. You think that this is over? You think the Most High has forgotten what they have done to us as his people? He has not forgotten about us. He has not forgotten about what they've done to us and how they killed us and how they hung us, how they raped us, and how they pillaged us and they have plundered us as a people. Yes, we are disobedient people, but we're still Yahweh's sons and daughters. He still loves us. We need to ask Yahweh to help us. Just like David has said in his Psalms, help us, Elohim. You're the Elohim of our salvation. You're the one who took us out of Mitzrayim. You're the one who delivered us from the Philistines. You're the one who delivered us out of Babylon. You're the one who delivered us out of the Medes and the Persians and the Greeks and the Romans. Oh, we need Yahweh's salvation. We need him to save us from our enemies. Oh, for the sake of the glory of your name. It has to do with Yah's reputation. Yahweh, deliver us and forgive our sins for the sake of your name. Because what is in his name, people? Love, compassion, forgiveness is in Yahweh's name. Mercy can be found in Yahweh's name. This is the reason why he's given us his name. Why you and I are in our exile. So we can call on his name. We've been calling on the name of these other gods. They have not saved us. They have not heard us. They have not heard our groaning and our cries. They do not hear us because they do not exist. It is the glory of Yahweh's name that allows forgiveness for our sins. Yahweh is merciful to the merciful. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. Why should the nations ask, where is their Elohim? Oh, praise. He is our Elohim. He is our power. And you and I need to remember this. Today, he needs to tell us today, you have no other power but Yahweh. Let the vengeance taken on your servants' shed blood be known among the nations before our eyes, and let the groaning of the captives come before you. By your great strength, save those condemned to death. You and I have been condemned to die by the hands of our enemies. It is their conspiracy. It is their plan. It is their intention to destroy the children of Israel. This is what you and I are blinded from. You and I don't even know that they have conspired to destroy us. Yes, we can dance for them. We can sing for them. We can act for them. We can entertain them. But their purpose and their plan is to destroy us and to bring an end to our name. It is only because of the power and the mercy and the grace and the compassion of Yah that allows us to continue to call upon that great name. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. Praise him for his mercy. Praise him for his forgiveness. Praise him for his atonement. And praise him, hallelujah, for his cleansing of our souls. The Most High has decided to forgive you and I. He said that our controversy is fully resolved. By what? By sending us away into exile. I have sent you out because I wanted to deal with your sin. Oh, praise to the Most High. Oh, he removes her with a gust of wind by the day and by the blowing of the east. Oh, praise be to the Most High. Praise be to the Most High. So iniquity, so the perversity of us, of Yaakov, can be atoned for by this, by him sending us out to the lands of that he promised to our fathers. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. He's removed our sins by doing this. He's done this. And as a result of this, there's an attitude and there's a behavior that is conducive to us making a change in our lives. And that is to get rid of all of our idols of stone and to chop them down and to break them down and to smash them and to burn them and to give praise to Yahweh's name. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. Praise be to Yahweh. Praise be to Yahweh. Get rid of your idols. Smash them and burn them and remove them from yourself. Take them out of your houses and take them out of your mind. Remove it far from you. So Yahweh's name can be praised among the nations. He sent us here to get his name, people. He exiled us for more than one purpose. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. The question is, can one be taught anything? That's the question. That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Because this is a question that the Most High is asked. Can anyone be taught? Can no one understand the message? What message, Yah? What is the message that you've been trying to tell us? He's been trying to tell us that I am the being, I am the reality, I am the existence, I'm everything you see. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. Must one teach barely weaned toddlers? Huh? Babies taken from the breast. Why is this important for us to understand? Why does he want us to know this? Because you and I have been deceived. We have been deceived by those who call themselves teachers. We have been deceived by organizations that have said that the Most High told us that this is the way that we should learn. They say that so that one can use nursery rhymes, saying Zav Lazav, Zav Lazav, Kav La Kav, Kav La Kav, Zair Sham, Zair Sham. English meaning precept by precept, precept by precept, line by line, line by line, there a little, here a little. That is the wrong way of being taught by Yah. These fools in these organizations are saying that the way that you and I are supposed to learn is this way. And this is a lie. This is not from Yah. Yah, this is a punishment to be taught this way, people. Yah's not trying to talk to us like babies. He's not trying to talk to us. Zav lazav, kav lakav. That word zav right there means a command by command. Like you and I cannot understand anything besides, well, here's a little command, here's a little command, here's a little, don't give them too much. Don't talk to them too much. Don't tell them. You got to give them line by line and precept by precept and little here and little there. That's how they're supposed to learn. No. That's a lie. With stammering lips in a foreign accent, Yahweh will speak to this people. In context, he's talking about when I send them over to these nations, these people are going to be teaching them this way. They're going to be telling them like they're little children that they don't understand anything. I'm going to start having these other foreigners talk to them and tell them what I said. And that's not going to be what I said. It's not what the Most High said. So now the word of Yahweh for them comes precept by precept, precept by precept, line by line, here a little, there a little. So when they walk they stumble backward and are broken, trapped, and captured. That type of teaching of Zavlazov, Zavlazov, Kavlakov, Kavlakov, Zair Sham, precept by precept, precept by precept, line by line, a little here, a little there. That, if you're learning that way, you're going to stumble backwards, you're going to be broken, and you're going to be captured, and you're going to be trapped. Because that's not Yah's way. Yah's talking about these leaders, these so-called priests, these so-called prophets that are talking to you and they're telling you stuff that they're saying that this is the way you're supposed to learn. And Yah's saying, no, that's not Yah's way. That way of learning is going to cause you to be trapped. And it's going to cause you to be captured. Yah didn't talk to us in a Zav Lazav. He didn't. When Yahweh spoke to us, he told his people, it's time to rest. The exhausted can rest now. You can relax. But what? They wouldn't listen. They would not listen to Yahweh. Our people have a listening problem. When he tells them that it's time to rest, he brought them out of their idolatrous practices, people. He brought them out of their hardship. He brought them out of the place where they were being oppressed and mistreated. He brought them out of a place where they were being overlooked and stumped down in the dirt, where they were being murdered and killed and taken advantage of and exploited for their work and their efforts. And he brought them out and he said, it's time to rest. It's time for the exhausted to rest. I want to give you rest so now you can relax. But these people, they wouldn't listen to the Most High. They wouldn't listen to him. When he talks about resting, he's talking about the Shabbat. He's talking about ceasing and desisting from what? Your work. This is the reason why the Most High brought them out. He brought them out to come to know him, to let them know that I'm an Elohim of rest, to let them know that it's time for them to cease from their work. When they were in Egypt, people, they were working 7 days a week nonstop. They had quotas that they had to meet. There was no time to rest. There was no time to rejuvenate. There was no time to reflect. And there was no time to refrain from their work. You and I are not built and designed to work all the time. You're not made for that. The actual day was made so you wouldn't have to do it. Your Torah portion? Paro said, look, the population of the land has grown, yet you are trying to have them stop working. When I read this in Hebrew, it talked about the Shabbat. He mentioned the Shabbat. He didn't want them to have a Shabbat. That's the bottom line. Your enemy wants to work you until he cannot work you any longer. Because while you're working, he's being benefited from your efforts. And you're not getting nothing out of it. You're draining yourself. This is what he says, the Most High, to us. You are to remember, you are to zakar, as a memorial that you were a slave. You were a slave in the land of Egypt. And Yahweh, your Elohim, Yahweh, your Elohim, brought you out from there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, Yahweh your Elohim has ordered you to keep or to guard the day of the Shabbat. So you're telling me that when we were slaves in the land of Egypt, the Most High has took out his strong hand and his stretched arm to bring me to a land and tell me to rest, to tell me that I should guard this day that he made for me? Is that what you're telling me? Yes. You tell the people of Israel, you are to observe my Shabbats, for this is a sign between me and you through all your generations, so that you will know that I am Yahweh who set you apart. When Yah gave signs to Moshe, which we're going to talk about in a few moments, it's Yah's way of expressing communication. Sign is the first part of the word significance, Oh, praise be to Yahweh. Signify, sign. It's Yah's way of speaking to us. I'm letting you know that I am Yahweh. I'm letting you remember, I told you it's his signature. It's his signature. I'm the one who brought you out. So when you're keeping the Shabbat today, you're to remember that you were a slave in Mitzrayim, and I, by my strong hand, brought you out. This is your sign. It is my signature. Sign. Sure. Signature. It's the signature. The Shabbat is a signature of Yahweh's name. I've set you apart for me. I gave you the signature. I put your name on. I put my name on you. I didn't give it to anyone else. I gave it to you. I didn't deliver nobody else from Mitzrayim except for you. I didn't go there for nobody else but you. Therefore, you are to guard my Shabbat. Why? Because it's a memorial. It tells you what I did for you. It is because it is set apart for you. Everyone who treats it as ordinary must be put to death. For whoever does any work on it is to be cut off from his people. Ordinary. Hebrew talks about halal. It talks about piercing. It talks about beginning something. It's talking about insulting the Most High. To challenge him. Like Pharaoh. I'm not going to let the people of Israel go. I'm not sending them anywhere so they can rest. No. They're not keeping no Shabbat. No. So when you and I have the attitude that we're not going to do what he says, we're being like Paro. And because you're acting like an enemy of the Most High, he's going to show you who he is. That's what's going to happen. We need to remember the Shabbat. We need to remember that Zakar has to do with a male. It has to do with a son. It has to do with someone that always has to be mentioned. And I'm not talking about your Christ in the New Testament. This so-called Son of God. I'm not talking about him. What I'm talking about is Most High Son. That's who we're talking about. De Amarta de Elaparo, Ko Amar Yaba. Mabani, Ubakori Israel. Yahweh says, Israel, Yisrael is my firstborn son. Not somebody in the New Testament, my only begotten son called JC the Christ. You need to remember who the son is. You need to remember who Yah mentioned. You need to know who Yah declared to Pharaoh, to this king, who his son is. You're Yah's children. He says, Ko Amar Yahweh. That word ko right there, when I first read it, it means thus in English. Thus says the Most High. Often when you talk to people and you say, well, do you ever read a New Testament where it says, thus saith Yah? Thus says Yah. You ever read that? Huh? No, you never see it in the New Testament. There is no Ko Amar Yahweh. Okay? There is no Ko Amar. Ko means to burn. A brand. So when the Most High, when I read this, it blew me away. Because at first I was just saying, oh, it means thus. It's a grammatical term for thus, or he says. But no, what he's talking about is burn. So I'm burning a brand. Okay, so when he talks about his name being upon us, what he's talking about is I branded you. So when you look at this word ko, Ko Amar Yahweh. Anytime you see Ko Amar Yahweh, that is literally Most High burning something. And he's burning it with fire. He's making a brand. I'm branding you because you're mine. So my son has my signature. That's how you know that Christ is not Yah's son, because the Most High never declared. They said, oh, there's a voice that said, behold, this is my son in whom I well pleased. No. Regardless of who said that, it's not a Kol Amar Yahweh. It's not burned. It's not a brand. Yahweh tells Pharaoh that I'm Kol Amar Yahweh. I don't have a slide because I took it out. You know, Pharaoh, after he heard when Moshe said, Kol Amar Yahweh, Pharaoh turned around and told the children of Israel, Kol Amar Pharaoh. He was mocking them, saying that I'm branded you, you're mine. See, so this is the idea of idolatry and idolatrous people. What they want to do is to remove Yah's name from you and put their own brand on you and make you theirs. So you're going to do what they say. That's what it is. Yah said, I have told you to let my son go in order to worship me. But you have refused to let him go. Well, then I will kill your firstborn son. That's how Yah feels about us. That's the reason why these people have been put to death. It's because Yahweh will kill anybody and everybody for you and me. Because we're his son. We're his children. You understand? We're his firstborn, which means that we have all the rights and privileges. I mentioned earlier to you about the signs. The signs that were mentioned in the Hebrew talks about this word called palal. And basically what it means is something that is extraordinary, something that's very significant, something that's wonderful and that's amazing, that has never been seen, that's outside of human power. But also has to do with the word plead. Okay. So when he talks about giving these signs, right, what he told Moshe, here, take the stick, the staff, take your hand and stick it inside your jacket, take, the water and pour it. What he's talking about is doing these palals. In a palal, the first letter is a pei, which has to do with the mouth, and it means to speak. That's what a mouth does, like in the word paro or pharaoh. The p means to a mouth. It means to speak. It means to open. Okay. And so the second letter, of course, is a lamed, right? Because what we're talking about, again, something that's extraordinary. We're talking about something that has to do with pleading, right? So the second letter has to do with this idea of a staff, which is authority. So when you put those two letters together, what you have is speaking to authority. Okay. That's what those two letters mean. Okay. When you bring them together, I'll bring it right here. Literally, what he's talking about is speaking to authority. Okay. And so when someone is pleading, okay, they're speaking to someone on someone else's behalf. So when the Most High talks about giving his palals, his extraordinary wonders, this is how he speaks. Okay. These are one of the ways that he speaks. So he's going to speak through these extraordinary things to plead on our behalf. And this is what he's doing to Pharaoh. Okay. So why is this important? Because he's speaking to authority, right? And he's pleading on our behalf with his authority. Okay. So Elohim said, now put your hand in your coat. Right. And so he put his hand back in his coat, and when he took it out, it was healthy as the rest of his body. In context, earlier he told him to put his hand in, he took it out, it was white as snow, put it back, and now he's telling me it's going to turn back to its original health, right? The rest of your body. And he says, if they won't believe you or heed the evidence of this sign, because remember we talked about the Shabbat as a sign, this is something too. This is something extraordinary, right? That's what he's using, a palal. They will be convinced by the second. So the second sign is him putting his hand in. The third sign is drawing the water and pouring the water out. He says, but if they're not persuaded, meaning if they don't have a belief that I sent you, right, even by both of these signs, right, and still won't listen to what you say, then take some water from the river and pour it out on the ground, and the water will from the river will turn into blood on the dry land. So those are called palals, okay, and they're extraordinary signs. Now you got to ask yourself the question: is it really about the sign? Is it really about the sign, or is it what the sign represents? So in all three cases, okay, I don't have a little chart for it, but I'll just write up right here. The first one is the staff. And the staff turns into what?
A serpent.
It turns into a serpent. A hand, what does the hand do?
Turns leprous.
Turns leprous.
I have a question about that. It turns into a serpent. I didn't revisit the Hebrew for it. Does it say that the staff turned into a nakash.
Yeah, it's a Nakash. Yes, it is. It's a Nakash. Yep, it is. All right. So listen. So what we're talking about are the signs, right? So we got the staff, the hand, and the water, right? So when you think about this, you got to ask yourself something. Okay. Is it really about these things, right? Or he's just using them as signs, right? Um, in all three cases, something is being what? All the forms are being changed. Everything's being changed. It doesn't matter if he turned the staff into a reindeer. It doesn't matter if he changed it into a possum or a cow. It doesn't matter. He chose to make it a serpent for his reason. What about the hand? It turns from being of color to leprous being white. It's a change. All the water changing from being clear and being able to be drinkable and have life to it to blood, which blood, of course, um, it does have life in it, but once it's spilled, it starts losing its life, right? So is it really about the items? Is it really about the staff, the hand, and the water, the serpent, the leprosy, and the blood? No, it's not. What it's really about, the reason why he gives these is because he's trying to show them that I can change these forms. And the reason why he wants them to see these things is because what he's telling them is this. And this is on a not a very shot level, meaning a very simple level, but this is more, I say, we're a remez or a soul level talking about, I want you to know that I am about to change your situation. That's what it's about. I'm going to change your situation. So if they see these things, if they see these signs, it's indicators, okay? It's indicative of the fact that their situation is about to be changed. Yeah, I'm about to change it. Just like I can change a staff into a snake, or I can change your hand into one color, and I can change this. So he's telling me is that I have the power to change your situation. Because why? Because I am what? I am the being. That's what I do. That's the verb of his name. Okay. I am the being. I can make whatever I need to make. He's showing his power. He's showing the power of his hand because the staff represented the Most High's hand. That this is the change. I can make that happen. I can change your situation. So this is important for us to understand. That's how much power he has. That I can change whatever I need to change. Again, if I want to heal, I can heal. If I want to wound, I can wound. If I want to kill, I can kill. If I want to bring alive, I can. That's in Deuteronomy chapter number 32. Anything that I need to do, I will do. Anything that needs to happen will happen because I am the one. I am the being. I'm not a human. I can make anything happen. I can open up rivers. I can split the sea. I can do whatever. I can have a Moloch jump in fire. I can change someone's name. I can give birth to a woman who can't even have a child. And that's what he's telling us is that I can do what we call it impossible. He's always asking the question, is anything too hard for me? That's all he's ever wanted us to recognize. So when he went to Abraham and he asked, is anything too hard for me? And when Sarah laughed, he wanted him to recognize that I have the power to do what I'm saying I'm going to do it. Well, how would I know that you're going to give me a descendant? How would I know that you're going to give me these descendants? How am I going to know that you're going to give me this land? How am I going to know? And that's perfectly okay for you to ask questions. But the bottom line is what you and I need to have is what we need to have is a strong sense of confidence and belief in the Most High. I don't have a screenshot of it or a slide, but it talked about the importance of us passing on the Torah so the next generation wouldn't be rebellious. So the next generation is coming and will find out about the works that Yah has done so they would put their confidence in Yah. This very story that the message we've been given has been, from our enemies has been a lie. The message from Yah is the one that I'm your savior. I'm the one who delivered you. I'm the one who has the power by my hand to deliver you from your enemies. I'm the one who saves because everyone's concerned about their salvation. So If you and I don't put our confidence in the Most High and we lie to him like our ancestors and we put up a pretense that we're really with him and we really believe him, then we're faking the funk and we're not going to have any good results. And nothing in our lives are going to change. So the bottom line of these signs that the Most High is using, of course, I say it all the time when I teach people, and Carabano knows this. When I go on TikTok, I tell people all the time, the Most High doesn't want us to really believe anything. I want you to see it. He provides signs so you can see. He provides works so you and I can remember them. Yes, Sister Pam. Go ahead, Koti. You're on mute, Sister Okoti. Okoti Pam, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Okay. I'm reminded of Amos 3 and 6, which says, does calamity come to a city unless Yahweh brings it? So he can do anything.
He can do
Anything.
anything he wants. If
Yeah.
not, is there not war? Have I not done it? Is a lion roaring out in the forest without me doing this? Yah is the one. That's what he's trying to get us to understand.
Yeah.
That's all he's been trying to get us to understand. So when you hear me crying and you hear me praising the Most High, I'm praising him because he showed me, like, your ancestors, all from the beginning of the time when I first met you guys and I introduced myself to you. They've always had a problem with really trusting what I've done. I showed you the works. I cracked open a rock and had water, rivers come out of a rock so they would remember it. And they thought that it was a magic trick, and it's not. That's what he's saying to us. You understand? So when Yah does this, when he talks about these things, he's letting us know, I've given this to you. Okay? But the bottom line is, it's always going to be about Israel. You and I are the remnant. You and I, you're the remnant. Those who are listening and really, really are understanding what he's saying, you're the remnant of Israel. You're the one who's having an experience. You're going to have an experience. You're having one now. And you're going to continue to have this experience until the time when Yahweh appears unto us. Yahweh is going to appear unto the remnant of Israel. He's going to show us his power. Okay. There's several ideas that surround a remnant. A remnant could be the ones that he has set apart. A remnant could be the ones who are left over in the lands of their enemies. There's a scripture in Leviticus that says, I'm going to leave you there and there will be someone left over. A sha'ar, there's a remnant left of you. There was millions and millions and millions and millions upon that can be innumerable. But now I have scattered you all over the world and just a few of you left over. You guys have not grown to what you're supposed to. You're very few in number. You're supposed to be even more. And he's going to show us something. And I want you to take joy. I want you to have some joy in this. I want you to understand what's coming for you. That's what I want you to understand. The Most High shared with us in the book of Yashayahu, which is Yahweh's salvation, that the time is coming when Yaakov will take root. Yisrael will bud and flower and fill the whole world with a harvest. What is that? So, in comparison to what he talked about when I'm going to bring you out of Egypt, right? I'm going to bring you into a land that flows with milk and honey. I'm going to bring you to the land of the Kiwi, the Yavusi, the this, the that, these other 7 nations. But now Yah's going to do something different. Yah is talking about bringing us out, and he's going to take root where? In the world. And Israel is going to bud and flower and fill the whole world with a harvest. Yah's intention is to have us come back out of the nations. Listen to me. Cleanse us. Remember about our sins. Cleanse us. Make us pure. Purify us. Get us right. Get us righteous. Get us kadosh. Get us set apart. And then once he plants us in our own land, then you and I are going to blossom and we're going to spread to the whole entire world. There's going to be too many of us to live just in our land. His idea is to fill the whole world with Israel. That's the intention of the Most High when he brings us out. Therefore, here are the words of Yahweh. I need you to hear what he's saying, who redeemed Abraham. Concerning the house of Yaakov, these are Yahweh's words. These are not Akika's words. Yaakov will no longer be ashamed. No longer will his face grow pale, meaning be afraid. For when his descendants see the work of my hands among them. They will consecrate my name, which is his name, is Shimka. Okay? Yes, they will consecrate the set apart one of Yaakov, and they will stand in awe of the Elohim of Israel. I want you to look at what he just said. He said that they are going to see the work of my hands. Just like he took his strong hand and brought us out of Egypt. His strong hand fed us and led us in the wilderness. His strong hand opened up the rock so we can have rivers. His strong hand sent forth the manna. His strong hand destroyed our enemies in the Red Sea. You understand? His strong hand destroyed all of our enemies. His strong hand replaced the inhabitants of a land and brought us in there and planted us there. He wants you to see the work. He doesn't want you to believe the work. He wants you to see it. And so if you're talking about seeing something, that means that he has to give you a sign. This is how he does it. Because his sign is his signature. And when he does it, you will know based on the signature, you will know if Yahweh is the one who has done it. You'll know that it's his sign. So when you see the remnant of Israel being gathered back to their land, then you will know that I am Yahweh. When you see the nations being plundered, then you will know that I'm Yahweh. When you see that the nations are being destroyed in front of your face and the wicked are being extricated, or I would say annihilated off the face of the earth, open your eyes and watch, and then you will know that I am Yahweh. I want you to see it. I want you, then you'll know my name. You're going to consecrate my name. But there are some among the children of Israel that are without understanding. Yes, there are. Therefore, he who made them will not pity them, and he who had formed them will show them no mercy. I know this is not really the way that you wanted to end this lesson today, but there's a group of us. I'm talking about live on YouTube, and hopefully not anybody that's in my class, that you're still without understanding. And Yah's not going to show you any pity because I'm the one who formed you. I'm not going to show you any pity. Why? Why is he telling you I'm not going to show you any pity? Because if you and I choose to be wicked, you and I will never learn truly what righteousness is. That's the reason why he won't show pity. So those of us who continue to want to live and do what we want to do, and we don't want to acknowledge that he is the being and that he is the one and he is the reality and he is life and he is death and he is calamity and he is good and righteous. If we don't want to understand this and we refuse, like Pharaoh did, to obey his voice and do what he says because you don't know him, as if you not knowing him will justify your disobedience. This is the reason why people don't want to know his name, because once they get that name, that means there's a call to action. Just like when Moshe told Pharaoh, or told Yah, now that I mention your name, all this hell, I'll literally paraphrase, all hell broke loose. The people now are getting mistreated now. Once the name was right, once the name was mentioned, it's all bad now. Once Yah's name is invoked, all hell will break loose because he's not playing. Okay. So even if pity is shown to the wicked, he or she or them, they still don't learn what righteousness is. So pity is not shown to wicked people. Pity is shown and mercy is shown to those who acknowledge Yahweh and to accept the fact that he has done what he has done. To accept, if you acknowledge that he's the one who sent you here, if you acknowledge that he sent you here to get rid of your idols, then Yah can have mercy on you. And he will. Because Yah is a merciful Elohim, but he's not merciful to the wicked. That's what people don't understand. See, the New Testament makes you believe and made me believe that he was going to show me, my wicked behind, some compassion. Because all I said is I believe that he sent his son. It said in a land of uprightness, he will still act wrongly and fail to see the majesty of Yahweh. So even if he went back to the land, like your cousins and your brothers and your sisters and your aunts and your uncles and friends and family, you want Yah to show them mercy and you want him to show them pity, but he's not. He's not going to show me any pity if I decide to go wicked. I hope you understand what he's saying. There won't be no pity shown to the wicked. So stop asking for it. It's not going to happen. If your child decided to turn their back on you, I don't have a scripture up here, but it says, all those who adulterously leave you will be destroyed. Count on that. And the reason being is because he's the being. The Yah he's not tolerating this from us any longer. If you didn't get your act together while you're in exile and you didn't come to understand that it is my works and you don't know what my signature is that points you directly back to what I did for you in Mitzrayim, and to say that I'm your Elohim, then you're not going to understand the following information that I said in my covenant about me being Yahweh. I'm the one who brought you out. That's why I told you my name. Anoki Yahweh Eloheka. That share the Otzitika Me'aretz Mitzrayim Beit of Avadim. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. My signature, I'm the one who did this. So if you put someone else's name or try to replace what he's saying, then you're the wicked. You're done. Okay. So what we need to do is this. We need to understand what Yah's plan is for us. His plan is to plant us. Okay. I want you to Yahweh. I want you to Yahweh. Somebody tell me what does Yahweh mean? What is Yahweh? I'll put up here
Means to
everything.
fear God.
Yeah.
Fear Yahweh.
Yeah.
You're going to fear Yahweh. And this is how you fear him. Yahweh means to point in a direction. So, of course, fear and pointing and showing instruction, I'm going to point you to the Torah. Okay. And I'm going to point you this week to read this. And then also I'm going to point you to the Haftarah in Ezekiel. Okay. That's Ezekiel right there. Yekesquel. Okay. And actually his name, Ezekiel, has the word Kazak in it right here. Okay. And in Hebrew, Kazak means to be strength and to take hold of. So the Most High wants you to use your hand this week and take hold of these two chapters right here. Okay. And then, of course, the Halim is to bring light, which is found in the Psalms. And I'm going to point you to these chapters. And you read that a little bit every day. Let's don't be too like, oh, well, read chapters 91, 92, 93 today. And then, and then that's it. If you want to read 90 to 100, you can. If you want to read, only one of them on the first day and the next one on the next day, if you want to read all of them on one day, it's up to you. You understand? When you have your quiet time, let's don't get into some redundancy with the Most High. Okay. The purpose of the Most High putting us on this cycle, the Torah, is to learn how to fear him. That's what he's doing, to learn how to fear the Most High. Okay. Shemot is really what we would call the book of Exodus, just in case you guys didn't know that. Tehillim is the Psalms. But that's what it is. It's Yahweh. I wanted to let you know that I'm honored to be someone that the Most High has decided to choose to be available for him, for you. I'm glad that he made me disabled. I'm glad that he put titanium in my spine. I'm happy that he took away the life that I was living, because I wouldn't have an opportunity to cry out to him like I have done today. I wouldn't have been able to share the information that the Most High has given to me to give to you. I'm glad that I'm your teacher. I'm glad that Yah is using me to point you in the direction that he wants all of us to go. I do want to make it very clear to all of us that are listening live and those who are on stream. We have to stay together. If you are a sheep of the Most High, indeed you are, you need to be around other sheep. You need to be part of the flock. You can't do this by yourself. You cannot do this alone. We all have to stay together. And what I mean by that is, I'm not in this cult mentality, like if you don't show up on the Shabbat, then you left the flock. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is, let's all try to stay together. Let's all try to walk this path together. so we can learn from one another. That's why I appreciate your questions, and I appreciate your input and your contributions that you make. I appreciate you. I appreciate that you've taken time out of your schedule to be with the rest of Yahweh's family and to be rest of your family, your mishpachah. Okay, so as flocks, we need to stay together, and that's how it works. So individuals that are thinking that you don't need to be around anyone, and you need to stay to yourself, and you can learn on your own and all this kind of stuff, you have a misunderstanding about the way things work. The way that the Most High works is through an idea of a flock. There's not one shepherd per sheep. It doesn't work like that. The Most High is our shepherd. Yahweh droi lo exar ben not deshe, the Arabaseni, the Almain, Minakota Yana Halani. Yahweh is our shepherd. We shall not want, we will never be diminished. He leadeth us down the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Okay. So this is what he is. He's a roi to us. So let's all gather around him. Come, even if you show up late, I don't care, because sheep's be walking and coming in. Just make time for the Most High and be around your people. Hallelujah. Let me put this up here right quick. Praise be to Yahweh. A very emotional day for me. I cannot. Huh? What'd you say?
I'm sorry. I didn't know that I was unmuted. That was
What are you doing?
the class today.
My brother. I was saying it's an emotional day for me. I just really feel like Yah's really been kind to us as his people. And I'm sorrowful because I haven't, if you, when you go through your life and you find out that you've been wrong and you haven't really had a appreciation, you know, and when you miss things in this whole time, you haven't seen it. It's been right in front of your face and you haven't seen it, and that's because sometimes we don't want to see things. But the Most High is, he's doing something with us. Go ahead, Carbano.
So yeah, so you had mentioned something earlier about Moshe being weaned, and um, my wife had made a comment that because I guess her understanding is that what was it, honey?
That he was not a toddler.
That he was not a toddler when